When OpenAI unveiled Sora 2 to the public, the demonstration videos looked like pure magic. A single short text prompt could generate a sweeping drone shot of a neon-lit Tokyo street that smoothly morphs into a vibrant, highly detailed jungle. Older AI generators could only muster short, silent, and often glitchy clips. Sora leaped over those hurdles entirely, producing continuous 20-second cinematic sequences complete with perfectly synchronized audio. The marketing behind the model was remarkably bold. OpenAI claimed Sora was a world simulator. By feeding it vast amounts of data, they argued the software had taught itself how objects interact, how lighting bounces, and how bodies move through space. To the outside world, this looked like the end of traditional content creation. The message was clear. Anyone with a keyboard could now render an entire believable reality using nothing but their imagination. Inside the legacy studios of Los Angeles, that demonstration triggered immediate panic. The prospect of generating perfect locations and actors from a laptop posed a direct threat to the massive infrastructure of traditional physical production. The reaction was swift and quantifiable. Filmmaker Tyler Perry had been planning an $800 million expansion to his physical studio complex in Atlanta. After seeing what Sora could do, he halted the entire project indefinitely. Other giants tried to buy their way into the future. Disney CEO Bob Iger committed $1 billion to a partnership with OpenAI, aiming to integrate Disney's vast catalog of IP into the model. IP, or intellectual property, refers to legally protected creative assets like specific characters, brands, and story universes. Within months of Sora's reveal, the prevailing consensus among entertainment executives was that physical cameras, location scouting, and practical sets were rapidly becoming obsolete. But when early access creators actually sat down to build narrative stories with the software, the pristine marketing illusion of the platform quickly fractured. This chart shows the reality of the creator workflow. Instead of a linear production pipeline where inputs directly control the final output, text prompts in Sora acted like polls on a slot machine. A prompt was merely a search command thrown into an unstable statistical space, resulting in wildly unpredictable variations. The inefficiency was staggering. To produce Airhead, one of the first short films made with the platform, the production team estimated they had to sit through roughly 300 failed generations to get a single usable take. Even basic cinematic parameters were out of reach. Creators could not specify camera movements, exact focal lengths, or reliable shot sizes. Users found themselves acting as curators of random data. They spent hours sifting through unpredictable outputs, treating the software like a source for found footage instead of a tool for directed performance. The root of this unpredictability exposed the central flaw in the world simulator pitch. Sora did not understand mass, gravity, or physical laws. It only understood the statistical probability of which pixels typically follow other pixels in two-dimensional space. Because of this, it frequently generated bizarre physical anomalies. A photorealistic glass dropped onto a hard floor wouldn't shatter. It would hit the ground, lose all object stability, and stretch into grotesque putty-like shapes. Researchers documented even stranger logic failures in the model's generated video clips. A plastic chair excavated from the sand constantly changed its shape before appearing to sprout legs and walk away. Beyond the visual quirks, this lack of understanding created severe safety vulnerabilities. Researchers at Echo successfully bypassed guardrails, prompting the model to generate 22 distinct, hyper-realistic videos promoting violence and harmful content specifically targeting teenagers. This high-fidelity statistical illusion produced hyper-realistic frames while remaining disconnected from physical causality or basic safety standards. The disconnect between the towering expectations and the grinding reality culminated in a sudden, shocking collapse in the spring of 2026. On March 24, 2026, less than 2 years after the initial reveal, OpenAI published a brief post. They were abruptly shutting down the Sora app and its API. An API, or Application Programming Interface, is a set of rules that lets developers plug a service directly into their own custom software. The high-profile corporate partnerships fractured alongside it. Disney's new CEO, Josh D'Amaro, walked away from the table, effectively killing the $1 billion IP integration deal Bob Iger had championed. The underlying cause of death was basic economics. Generating high-fidelity video through an endless slot machine workflow requires an astronomical amount of computing power and energy. The revenue generated by the platform simply could not cover the massive cost to run it. The business model buckled under the weight of its own operational costs. The platform consumed far more in energy than it ever returned in revenue, marking it as the first major casualty of a localized AI market correction. With the most famous pioneer of generative video gone, the industry was forced to reevaluate what actually makes an AI tool valuable. This split-screen comparison table illustrates the new market reality. Competitors like Google's Veo 3 survived by abandoning the pursuit of a perfect world simulator. Instead, they offered practical workflow integration, scalable pricing, and open access that developers could actually afford to build upon. For the creative industry, the sudden shutdown delivered a harsh lesson. Studios and independent creators realized the severe danger of building entire production pipelines on top of proprietary, centralized models that can be switched off overnight. The era of Sora clearly demonstrated that machines can now generate stunning, high-definition imagery from nothing more than a simple sentence. However, the energy and hardware required to run these simulations currently cost more than the market is willing to pay.